last week's episode, we were in Copenhagen in Denmark.
Now we're on our way!
Then we sailed back across Öresund to Malmö.
So this is the area that we're going to start the upgrades that we're going to do on the boat. These tracks are original, and as I told you before, we think that this whisker pole is way too thin for a boat this size. So we have decided to replace it, and instead we're going to have two whisker poles, a bit thicker, and non-retractable, just fixed whisker poles that are 96 millimeter in diameter. But because of that, it's not possible anymore to get correct cars for these tracks, so we need to replace the tracks and everything. So it will be a bit bigger job than I first thought, but it will be really good when it's done. So I have already talked to a rigger up in Helsingborg that will order the stuff from Selden, and then he and I will do the job together, because there's a lot of rivets to take these tracks off, and they're pretty long. And the new whisker poles, they will be around 5.6 meters long, two of them, and they will stay or stand like this always, so they will be stored on the mast, which is nice. You might remember on our old boat we always had to lift the pole up, put it on a ring on the mast, but now it will be much easier. And also with two poles you can go sail with two poles out at the same time, so if you know that you're going to do a lot of jibes, move the sails back and forth, it will be a lot faster this way. And also we can sail wing on wing with the small cutter. So that's the first job, and after that I think we're going to tidy up a bit here, because there's a lot of different small lines, and I think it's there's room for improvement on the sides here as well, so we'll see what we're going to do with that.
Strong low pressures were building in the North Atlantic, and the storm Ciara made its way to Sweden. The danger in our marina is when the water rises.
So the wind has already started to come in, and it will culminate tonight around 9, and then it will be windy all week actually, but this storm will be over until tomorrow. And when the water level goes up a lot, sometimes these slide up. 6 years ago there was a big storm here in the south of Sweden from the north, which caused the water level to raise a lot here in the marina. So these poles were underwater, and some of the poles broke off, and as a consequence a lot of boats crashed into each other. And there were actually some boats that sank further out here in the marina.
The wind was coming from the southwest, which was good for us, but this marina in Limhamn is pretty exposed.
Now is the time when the storm should culminate or pass over us and be the strongest, but turned out to be not so bad. The gusts are quite strong, probably over 30 knots, maybe 30 to 40 knots. But it's hard to say because this marina is so secure and protected, because we have so tall buildings all around us, well, except from one direction, which is facing north, and this storm is coming from the southwest. So we just have this slightly rocking motion, which I think will just make us sleep really good tonight.
So a pretty well protected marina from the southwest. So we'll sleep well tonight, which is nice. Yeah, there are some gusts coming here between the buildings, but nothing major. That was pretty crazy. The whole deck is full of ice now, or hail. It was so loud. I couldn't hear you speaking down here. It went away as fast as it came. Wow. First some thunder and then this.
Finally, we got one day of good weather and we could start with our project. Håkan started by drilling out the rivets in the tracks so we could remove them.
Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of rivets to drill out, so it will take a while. And then when we're done with these holes, or to have drilled out all these rivets, we're going to drill new holes in the for the new tracks. So a lot of drilling today.
Ja, det var det jag tänkte, de skulle ha säkrat den där.
Jo, det går ju för sig. Vi säkrar upp den istället, så kan man ju gå hela vägen där.
Ja, ja.
Så slipper vi hänga.
Det är långa ståtvis och den här gjort också.
Ja.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's a lot of rivets to drill out though. Takes forever.
Yeah.
But
You did half each?
Yes.
yeah, actually Håkan has done most of it.
Yeah.
I only take the top part now. It's a bit high up, but yeah.
And how often do you do this, Håkan? This type of job?
Not so often, just this year,
But all kinds of, you do all
kinds
types
of
of rigging, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to tie a rope to the ladder now, so I won't fall down.
Good.
Secure it.
Only 3 rivets left, and now we just have to punch them into the mast.
Hela familjen jobbar.
Man får gå in i hamn vid 2-tiden för annars så får man inte plats.
Ja.
Det är så.
Det är det som är
Man kanske till och med måste, kan man boka på sådana ställen.
New tracks, old tracks. These tracks are 30 millimeters and the old ones are 32. So that's the reason why we're changing these tracks, because the new cars won't work on the old tracks. So those 2 millimeters has pretty big consequences. But it will be very good with roller bearings in the cars now, a lot easier. Yeah, so the next step is to attach these ones on the mast in the correct position.
Men det är ju egentligen rätt bra att skruva dem.
Ja.
För...
Om man vill ta vagn.
Precis.
Ja.
Av någon anledning.
Ja. Då gör vi det.
Valhänt.
We start with putting up the old end stops. So at least we have the same position height-wise. Or...
Vi har 2 korta bitar där uppe. Det gör ingenting. Montera den.
Ja. Och det är väl inga problem heller med glapp. Skulle de, även om de trycks med framme där så går de inte på.
Nej.
Så det är ju skit.
Kan nämnas.
Ja. Så det är bara att se som vi har.
I mitten. Så då sätter vi fast den ett par meter här.
Precis, och sen så kan man väl göra samma sak där på mitten och sen där uppe och sen är det ju bara borra.
Sen är det bara, ja precis. Och där är inget hål.
The work is going fine. Guys are working. We have just the perfect weather today. So much sun, and it's actually pretty warm in the sun. So you can even be outside without a jacket on.
Håkan has a pneumatic rivet gun, which makes the job way easier.
This is a very nice tool to have when you're doing as many rivets as we're doing now. Saves your arms.
The gun sucks in the scrap parts and stores it in a container.
Good? Very good. So this is the first of a list of things that we want to do on the boat. But this one was pretty important.
The tracks makes many holes because of the rivets, but they also add strength and rigidity to the mast.
Pretty convenient with a tool like this. A lot faster, and it won't slip like when you have the ordinary one, because with those it's very easy to slip and you scratch the aluminium.
Now we are going to put the last bits of the tracks in the top, and after we shall mount the booms and put them in place.
Sounds good. It's getting colder now.
Yes, little.
Yeah.
Selden didn't have a track long enough to cover the length of the old one, so we needed 2 extra pieces for that. The guys kept going after the sun went down, and a couple of hours in the dark before they were done.
So this is the second major low pressure in just over a week, and right now the water level has gone up a lot the last couple of hours. So we really hope that it won't go up anymore, because like you know, we're in a fixed dock here, so It's not very nice when the water level goes up too much, but I don't think it will be a problem. I think this low pressure is a storm a bit further north called Dennis. Last week it was the storm Chiara, I think it was called. But down here in the south it wasn't that bad. So, and this time it has down here in the south it has mostly been a lot of rain. It's windy, but it's not a storm. It's a light gale, I would say, with a lot of rain last night. But now, right now it's blue skies, and I think the wind has started to drop. Right now we maybe have, I don't know, 35 knots, something like that. Not in here though, it's very protected. This is nice. It will be so easy to store them on the mast with these new cars with roller bearings. Yeah, it took quite some time to get this job done, the whole day, well into the evening. So thanks a lot, Håkan. I really appreciate your help in this. It was great to have some extra hands on a big job like this. And the main reason we started to do this job from the beginning was these travelers. The old ones were only good for up to 45 kilonewtons, and this boat develops around 90 to 100 kilonewtons. So we couldn't use that type of cars in a good way. They're too weak. Also, these new cars, they're good for up to 120 kilonewtons. And they are on roller bearings, so it's easy to move them. And of course now we will store the booms on the mast, very convenient, and it's also nice to have two of them. So we have changed both the tracks, the travelers, and new booms. And we're also going to add, I already have the bracket, but we're going to change the bracket on deck, or add an extra one for the second pole. And we're going to change 2 blocks up on the mast and all the lines for the system. So it's not fully done yet, but this will be super in downwind sailing in the trades to have a good system like this. So the next thing is that we're going to leave the head sails to Håkan and his colleague to have the UV protection changed on those, because it's pretty worn out. So hopefully we'll have that done next week. We're also going to clean the sails before we change the UV light or the UV protection. So yeah, that's the next job.
Thank you for watching this episode. If you're new to the channel, check out our playlist with all our episodes and make sure to subscribe.